5 people are in this submersible missing in the Atlantic Ocean. The search is centred on an area near the wreck of the Titanic, which is about 700 kilometres off the Newfoundland island in Canada. The vessel, called Titan, is 6.5 metres long. Contact was lost just under 2 hours into its dive to the wreckage on Sunday. It's capable of diving 4,000 metres. Now, the tour operator, OceanGate, says Titan has life support for up to 96 hours.
If we find this vessel in the water, then we will have to effect some sort of rescue or coordinating, reaching out to different partners within the U.S. Navy, within the Canadian Armed Forces, and within private industry to understand what underwater rescue capability might be available.
Now, a pilot and 4 passengers are on board, including the British billionaire Hamish Harding. Tickets cost about $365,000 for the 8-day trip. And those who've been in the submersible say it's a modern facility.
Deep submersible diving is very dangerous, but it's high tech, and as each year goes by, the equipment gets better, the technology gets better, and so on. So I'm very hopeful and very positive. I was in the sub for 12 hours. We have our own breathing system on board, and if that's maintained properly, like changing your filter on your CO2 scrubber, you can stay down there for quite a few hours.
The Titanic famously sank in 1912 on its maiden voyage after hitting an iceberg. It's been succumbing to metal-eating bacteria, and this OceanGate expedition was the operator's 3rd annual trip to the wreck.
The first thing they have to do is to find it. And then once they've done that, and it's not a simple matter of GPS, they will have a sonar system transponder for tracking properly. They will have some heavy weights that they can dump. They're called drop weights, which can give them some buoyancy. But if they're tangled or something else, then it's a matter of having some other intervention. It's not as if you're just looking for a submarine that's trying not to be found. So they'll have a start point. They know when it was launched. They know what its path would have been to get down to the Titanic itself. The challenge they have is much like the accident of the Pisces 3 in 1973, when Roger Chapman and Roger Mallinson were in a small submersible, a bit smaller than this, inspecting cables, transatlantic submarine cables, and they got trapped. And the Priz, the Russian, actually was a submarine rescue vehicle itself, was trapped outside of Petropavlovsk in the Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia in 2005. And both of those occasions, they needed intervention from a remotely operated vehicle that was able to cut them free from the wires that had trapped them. So we don't know what might have happened. If they've been trapped, then intervention from a remotely operated vehicle is likely to be the means by which they can come to the surface. Because you can't just go and find from your local Avis or Hertz an ROV that you can borrow to take that's rated to go down to 4,000 or 5,000 metres. These, particularly if they're going to have any sort of manipulating and power capability to deal with that, it takes a while to mobilise such a system to a ship and then get it out there, and then launch it and get to the site. So time is very much of the essence.